Hello and welcome, this is Mouse Gunner, and we're back with some more of the Flashpoint DLC for BattleTech. It is time for my company to move on to a new system as we have completed all the contracts here. So we do have two travel contracts, they're both going to go to the same place. I'm going to take the one for House Merrick. This is going to take us to a system that doesn't really have high difficulty missions, but I'm really going there for the purpose of finding a store because the other place I could go would have more appropriate difficulty for where we're at the moment. So this is the location we'd be going to. But it's another one of those places that has very little population, so there's not really going to be a store. And I also want to look for the possibility of getting more pilots, as I'd like to have a little bit higher level pilots if we can find them. May not be able to find them, but that would be at least my goal. So that's the idea. So let's go ahead and take the contract. It's not going to be very high paying or anything. This is just going to be kind of getting us closer to where we want to be from a company standpoint. So in this case, salvage is going to be pretty terrible. So I don't know if I really care about that. We're probably going to be more interested in cash. I'll take a little bit of salvage because you never really know what will pop up. But at a one skull mission, it's not going to be great. But yeah, we'll just take a little bit more money to pay for the traveling. Now, we are going to travel 27 days, so that's quite a while, but let me just double check that is the place we're going to. So Claybrook, because that, I don't remember it being that far away, but maybe I am mistaken. Yeah, it is Claybrook. It's just maybe how the lanes, the jump lanes are going to be working for us. All right, well, in any case, let's go ahead and take that contract. Just wanted to double check that we were going to the place I thought we were going. All right, let's go ahead and accept, and we'll start moving. While we travel, I do want to talk about something that was brought up in one of my comments, and this is a really good comment that I received. Now, I have not watched a lot of other people play this game. Oh, okay. Reputation update. The Canopians, okay. My superiors thank you for your willingness to take on challenging tasks. You're making an invaluable contribution to the advancement of Canopian interest in this region. You can review your faction reputation status and the... Okay, so does that mean that we can do an alliance? I'm getting a little sidetracked from my point, but... Not yet. The button's not activated, but... And we're not, I also don't think we're at the next level. We have to be up to 79 to get to the next level. Alright, well, it's just good to know that that's probably just a little bit of a tip thing, or tutorial thing. But anyway, the comment in question, let's go ahead and continue here. It was about how I run my company. Because there's two sides of this game. There's the battle side, but there's also the running your company side. And a lot of that is financial stuff. And yet again, I'm getting interrupted here. So Mothman arrives at your quarters looking for some advice. What had started as a competitive training exercise in the training module has since evolved into a shipwide tournament with mixed lances of mech warriors and other crew. Mothman and Revere have been competing together, but Commander, Revere hasn't been pulling his weight, and my other two teammates are looking to me, as Lance Captain, to do something about it. I'm feeling a bit stuck here. What should I do? Okay, so we have two choices. Advise her to replace Revere or suggest Mothman hold extra practice. I'm going to do that one. Honestly, either thing's going to be negative. Okay, both of them have high spirits, so it looks like it worked. Later that week, you visit the training room and check the leaderboards. Mothman's Lance has risen to the top of the standings. The current match finishes, and a grinning Mothman exits from one pod and pounds on the adjacent pod. Revere emerges, laughing. Cheers and congratulations ripple through the entire room. So they both have high spirits for 60 days, so we may want to use Mothman to take advantage of the high spirits. It's usually a pretty good ability. And we also get morale, and morale is worth quite a lot to me. And then again, that gets into the financial aspects. I'm not going to advance any more time at this stage, just so we can talk a little bit here. I know that's wasting a little bit of time, but I don't want to get interrupted again. So, speaking of the financial side of things, the running of your company, the question was, why don't I sit in a system and repair all my top-line mechs coming into a mission rather than using what I do, which is using my B or C team, more or less, if I start getting damage on mechs. And the reason why is because time is money. Having to wait for repairs, and sometimes those repairs can take quite a while. Yeah, when they're only a day or two, I could see the point. But sometimes those repairs can be quite long. every day that you waste gets you closer to your financial report, and that's what we're getting towards right now. I know 1 day or 2 days may not be a big deal, but it's just that little bit closer to your financial report, and that's where you're starting to have to spend money. And you're just telling me all work is complete. Oh, I forgot. Well, I'm glad. I was so thinking about what we were doing here. I actually have something I need to do as far as setting up the crab. So let's get into it. So just like a philosophy of mine, just financially speaking, every day that I waste is time wasted, and time is money, because we're going to hit these financial reports every month, and you have to pay for those. And the other side of that is, what is the point of having 12 mechs if you're not going to use them? You are paying maintenance to have them in here in your mech bay. If all you're ever going to do is use your top line mechs, you don't need 12 mechs. Really, maybe you'd only need 6. So I would say don't even bother with your engineering upgrade. Just have 2 backup mechs in case the repairs are really long and you don't want to wait that time. But I did watch a bit of other people play, and then they would just play with like a primary lance mostly. And even if the repairs were like 20 days plus, they would still wait that time in system. So that's why I thought it was kind of important for me to talk about this, because I think that it makes a lot more financial sense if you're going to have this many mechs in your bays to use them, because otherwise you're paying maintenance on something that you're not using, and it doesn't make a lot of financial sense to do that. Also, the time is money aspect of things. So in my mind, using your mechs, using your pilots is a better financial idea than wasting a lot of time when you're already in system doing the mission. The time that you can wait for those repairs is the time in between systems like what we're doing right now. All right, so let's go ahead and get right back into that. And I know that's a philosophy thing, and there's different arguments against what I just said that would be valid. Just different ways of playing. Okay, so the big problem we have, and this is an issue where I'm not in a store. Probably the more efficient loadout for the crab is to have another large laser, and I only have 1 on hand. So it's not really that big of a deal that I didn't load out my mech, but let's see what we can do with just medium lasers. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of special lasers, but let's just kind of get an idea of what we can do here. We only have 5 energy weapon slots and 2 support slots. It's not a lot in the grand scheme of things. This is a pretty good mech, though, from the standpoint of being pretty well-rounded as an energy weapon-only style of loadout. Let's see. I like medium lasers. They're very efficient from a weight to damage ratio. We could do 5 of the things. It's also good to see where my slots are. So we only have 1 slot per arm. Okay. So this is a potential loadout, and that would leave us with a lot of tonnage to play with. Normally speaking, the typical loadout for a crab is 2 large lasers, 1 in each arm, a medium laser, and a small laser in the center torso. And that is it, if I'm remembering correctly. So from a damage standpoint, that's not bad. You're looking at 80 damage from the 2 large lasers, another 25 from the medium laser, so you're at 105. And that's the damage you're going to be typically using, unless you can get really close range and use that small laser. And then you're looking at 125. Not necessarily great for the tonnage, but it's not terrible. And the big advantage is you don't have to worry about ammunition or what have you. One thing that we would have as default would be 5 heat sinks, if I remember correctly. So we would have some tonnage allocated to that. So let's just throw some heat sinks in here. I'm not really doing this with any kind of like final C. I just want to see what we can do. So we have a lot of tonnage left over. Now, as I said, the default would be 2 large lasers, and we do also have the 2 support slots. Now, unfortunately, if I use this for a medium laser, I can't use it for the support slot. So that's something we're going to have to keep in mind. So if we want to do 2 small lasers, we're going to have to forego one of our energy weapon slots, which is quite a bit more limiting. So if we were to go more for a close-in firepower kind of setup, right now, 5 heat sinks, this is pretty heat efficient. Let's go ahead and switch so it's only, actually, we would want the support weapons. So we could put in a small laser. We do have some up damage small lasers. So let's say we did this one, right? We still have 7 tons to play with. We could throw in not heat sinks, jump jets. Well, heat sinks too, if we wanted to. We could up armor it. The armor of a crab isn't too bad, but it could use some improvement. In particular, we could see the left and right torso is not particularly well armored. That could probably be improved. So yeah, there's a lot of room to play with this thing. So let's say we went with the jump jets. So we're going to put a couple in the legs. Actually. Oh, okay. We may want to move the heat sink. I mean, it doesn't have to be symmetrical, and this mech is kind of making it so it really can't be symmetrical. So, well, I'm not going to worry about the symmetry. If that symmetry really bothers you, I apologize, but we have to have 5 jump jets to finish off our jump distance. So, well, you know what? If we're going to say it doesn't have to be symmetrical, I think jump jets being symmetrical makes a little bit more sense. But again, that's just for flavor. All right, so we're looking at that. We still would have 2.5 tons worth to play with. So we could up armor it, as I said. That's not too bad. We could give it maybe one more heatsink to make it a little bit more heat efficient. That would probably be a pretty good idea. So, you know, let's say we, to balance out the heat sinks here, we put another heatsink there. So... Oh, what did I say? How much we had left? We still have quite a lot. We have 3.5 tons to play with. So that heatsink really didn't make a whole lot of difference, though. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And then we would have 2.5 tons of armor, which is pretty good. So this would be a pretty decent loadout right here. We've got good maneuverability with the 5 jump jets. The damage is still not necessarily great. We're looking at 155, and that's if we could get at point-blank range for our small laser. But it's something you could work with. Preferably, you would want to have upgraded lasers for this guy, and we just really don't have that. And of course, I'd also like to see what the large laser loadout would be, and we just really don't have the large lasers. So that's kind of an idea that we could do, the medium laser loadout. Again, I want to see what the large laser loadout is going to look like. So... not bad. This is pretty heat efficient, pretty good maneuverability. I'd be happy with it. So we're not going to save this though, because again, I need to get to a, I need to get to a shop to be able to afford things. That's why we're moving to where we're moving in the first place. All right, let's get going. That was a little bit of a time waster, but all right, here we go. Financial report time. I am going to go ahead and get the morale up because I feel like we can afford it at this point. Once we get to the store, I'm also going to have a bunch of stuff that I can sell. So we will be doing that as well, and that will give us a lot of money. So I can afford this morale. I really want to get the morale maxed out as soon as I can. But yeah, I hope that whole discussion of like why I do certain things that I do makes sense from a certain standpoint. Also, the campaign you have a number of days. I mean, there is a time limit, right? So you want to make the best use of your time, in my opinion. Now, if you don't think you can succeed at a mission, I don't think you should be going in with your B or C team. And there's been times where I have delayed a little bit if I felt like I could afford the time to get a better team into a mission that I thought may be harder. So there are times you would sacrifice the time. But that really comes down to whether or not you think you can afford that sacrifice of time. All right, let's see what we want to do upgrades-wise. So I did the important ones, which is the training module and the med bay. Okay, so I don't want to get more mech bays because I don't know if I'm going to be getting many more mechs than this. There is other advantages of getting the third mech bay, though, and that's in tech points. You get more tech points, which means you do repairs faster. But other things you can do to get tech points would be, you know, something like this. This is actually very cheap at 130,000, so that's not too bad. And then we also have the various facilities here. Now, I honestly think that these are really a good idea to pick up from an event standpoint. A lot of events come up that relate to these structures. So if you don't have them, it can be a little bit of a problem with what choices you have. So in that regard, I think I'm going to go ahead and grab, I think the gymnasium is going to be probably the... Okay, this finishes faster. I think the gymnasium comes up more often, though. So I'm going to go ahead and do that one.
All right, I'll get the team on it right away.
Okay, and I don't think there's anything else I wanted to do with my mechs. And again, the time is money thing. That's another reason why I don't level up pilots unless I'm using them, because when you level them up, you have to pay them more because they're now more skilled. It doesn't matter how much experience they have. What matters is what they've unlocked. So you can sit on the experience if you're not using that pilot.
We're nearly broke, Commander.
Yeah, be quiet. We're fine. We'll be fine. We could afford another financial report even with this much money. And on top of that, we know we're going to be going to the store. We know we're going to be doing missions too. Now, what's my game plan after we arrive at this location? My game plan is to look towards doing that next Flashpoint.
Hey boss, we've just completed those upgrades.
It might be difficult for us.
Just about gone, Commander.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for the nagging. Okay, so I'm not going to say proceed just yet, because I want to look at what's here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the store. We know we need large lasers. Unfortunately, there's only one in here, but that's okay. I'm trying to think, like, from what we can do. The 2 large laser loadout is probably a pretty good one for the crab. I don't know if you'd want to go 3. But picking up 1 large laser is probably fine. We'll go ahead and do that now. Unless we think we could boost the relationship with these guys within this next mission. So I didn't pay attention to how much our reputation gain would be when I took the thing, but let's go ahead and take a look at it. Okay, so they are Merrick, and we would need plus 19, so we're not going to get that. So we might as well go ahead and do whatever we're going to do in the store now, especially if we don't know if these parts are still going to be there next time we look. Let's take a look at these missiles. Yeah, I'm not getting lucky with the missiles here. What we're looking for is extra damage. This other stuff is all great and everything, but really damage is the most important thing that you can always get. As a matter of fact, the small laser is probably going to be a pickup for me. Well, let's get the thing we really want, which is this.
New weapon systems.
What about this AC-5? So again, accuracy up, that's great and everything, but I would much prefer damage up. We also have some possibilities of picking up mech parts. We have a Thunderbolt. There's only 1 part here, though, so unless we got the other one, I wouldn't really lean towards that too heavily. But I really do like the Thunderbolt that we have, so it wouldn't necessarily be a bad pickup for us. Flamer does some extra heat damage. I don't think we're going to be doing that. Small laser definitely I'm going to pick up. One thing I could have done, and I probably should have done while we were traveling, is get the damage up on that fire starter, because I think once we get that rolling with a bunch of the damage upgraded, I am going to also grab this SRM-6. That's a good one for us. The SRM-4 is arguable. I think the plus 4 damage is pretty good, and you also have plus 2 stability damage. I think I'll take that one. I would prefer to use an SRM-6 over an SRM-4 because I think it's more efficient. But there's times where you just can't afford the extra slot. And in that case, the SRM-4 can be very good for you. So it's definitely better than an SRM-2 in my mind. Plus 4 damage on that. But I really don't think that that's very efficient from a standpoint of everything. Because it does take up the same number of slots as an SRM-4 does, but it does, in theory, half the damage. So let's go ahead and pick this up.
New weapon systems.
Armad. I don't tend to pick these up. I think that there is a place for them, but they do weigh something. Oh, I'm definitely picking this up. I forget if we already had one of these, but these are pretty valuable.
New equipment.
And we need to get them going. Probably the Thunderbolt would be a good one to put that in. I'm not sure I'm going to pick up this comm system, but this is why I went to this system. As you can see, there's a lot of things that I could buy here that are all pretty good. House America's proved to be a cool place to go. Alright, so I think we're done with all that. Let's go ahead and hop into the... Oh, no, we want to sell. And what we want to sell is we want to sell mechs. We have a bunch of mechs that we're probably not ever going to use, and these are going to give us quite a bit of value. So I'm just going to go through this, and we're going to start selling some things that we definitely aren't going to be using, like the Locust 1M, that it's well past the time when these are useful, so we're going to go ahead and sell them. The same thing with the Locust 1S. We're getting a decent amount of cash from these. We have three Panthers. We don't need 3 Panthers. As a matter of fact, I'm going to sell 2 of these. Yeah, let's go ahead and sell 2. So, as you can see, coming to the store and being able to sell stuff, I'm going to sell one of the Vindicators. The Vindicators served me well, but again, we've kind of gone beyond the point where they're super useful. So I'm going to sell 1. We still have Vindicators? I actually would have to check that. I think I still may have 1 active. Yeah, so I think honestly we even sell the other one. Yeah, but this is why I wasn't too worried about our financial situation. because we're going to be fine. I mean, I have so many mechs just sitting around that we can easily sell that, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Now, I'm not going to sell the weapons and stuff, even if I have weapons that I really have an absolute ton of. Like a good example of that. Well, you know, I say that. We've got 40 medium lasers. Are we ever going to use 40 medium lasers? I don't think so. So let's go ahead and we'll sell... I'll go with 15 for now. And then another weapon system that we probably have an absolute ton of. Like, for example, SRM2s. Do we need that many SRM2s on hand? Heck no. We have 15. I say we sell 10. This is just little bits of money, but it does help. SRM6s, I really like SRM6s. I think they're very efficient weapons. But again, we don't need quite this many around. Let's go with... We'll sell 8. Because we have a number of special SRM6s as well. Heat sinks, that's probably fine. Jump jets, we probably don't need that many either. So we'll sell, I don't know, let's say we'll sell 10 of these. Oh, alright, fine, 15. Okay. That's probably fine right there. We get to bolster our cash. I still have more mechs on hand that we could easily sell. As a matter of fact, what are some other mechs that we have? Maybe we don't need a spider anymore. Okay, the Shadowhawk, I think we keep. Panther we keep. Generators, do we need 3 of them? Probably not. We'll sell 1. Commandos... Again, I think these have probably outlived their usefulness as well. But being a big fan of Commandos, but it's more early game. The Cicada I'm definitely selling. Probably going to sell both variants. I just don't think these are good mechs, just from the standpoint of they're very limited in what you can load them out with. And I guess I'll get rid of the Commandos as well, because, again, we're probably not going to use them, so... Alright, so we have well over 4.5 million. Oh, a little over 4.5 million. So that's not bad. Gives us a lot of room, wiggle room. Okay, I think that's more or less all we have to do, other than obviously go into our mech warriors and make sure we have everybody leveled up. So in this case, we're definitely going to be using Mothman and Revere because we want to take advantage of their current high spirits, which we will have for another 38 days. The only downside of using them is if they're injured badly, we won't be able to use them in future missions. Okay, so as far as what we can do here, so you can get me a little bit more sprint speed, or we can get that overheat threshold. I think that's probably the thing that we're going to go for, and then we'll go from there. But having that overheat threshold is going to be pretty important, I think. So let's go ahead and go with that.
Training complete.
And then Mothman really needs a lot of things. But as she's going to be a backup... Well, first we do also want that overheat threshold, so that's what we're going to go for.
Training confirmed.
Okay. And then... My pilot... Okay, so recoil penalty... Or that... I think we might as well go piloting. We're probably going to get my pilot maxed out at some point. Okay, so we've done Revere, we've done Mothman. Gnarly's healthy again. So if... I think we go with Toxic. As a matter of fact, I think we go with our Beeline pilots because we are going to be doing a Flashpoint in the near future. We want to get them up in experience so we're ready for it. I'm saving for this. So, yeah, we're not going to be buying anything for Toxic. Okay, so we're more or less ready to go. Let's go ahead and launch the contract here. Now, what mechs I'm going to use, I'm not really sure. We could play around with this one a little bit. We do not have to. Well, we already talked we're going to be using Revere. And that means we're not going to be using the Firestarter. And everybody else is set, more or less. So, Revere... What mech would we want you to use? So we're in Lowlands. Honestly, I'd use the crab here if I had actually set it up, but we're not yet at that point. You know what? I think we can get away with having some more fun with the hatchet men. This is only a one skull mission, so I'm not too worried about it. The Thunderbolt would be overkill in my mind. So what do we want to use instead? I think we should use mechs that we really haven't gotten a lot of time on, just to see how they're going to do. So let's grab the Kintaro here. And then the Trebuchet is fine. So the Shadowhawk and Trebuchet, that's fine, but we're going to play around a little bit with the Kintaro and the Hatchetman, because I don't expect this to be an overly difficult mission. Alright, here we go.
Command interface initiated.
We're in the area where the pirate mech was sighted. Move up and make contact. Let's see what sort of trap this is. Sailor, Commander, Olivier out.
This reminds me of my childhood.
Alright, so it's an assassinate mission. So there would have been some reasons of why we would want to have more salvage in this one. I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive.
Roger.
And just move right on up.
Consider it done.
Let's split up a little bit in case we want to get some flanks. Jumping is probably going to get us... Might not get us that much further. But hey, it gets us some more evasion, and it will get us some better defense as well. Using a hatchetman as a scout is kind of silly, but we're doing it anyway. Okay, so you can start heading over this way, as we do need to get over that way. It's eventually. Okay, so we have the contact, and that's going to be the primary target. I want to get close here, but I also don't want to be out in the open if I can avoid it. Well, the woods is really slowing me down. I guess we just... As a matter of fact, it's slowing me down so much that I think we're just better off walking here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And then you are going to go... Oh, so that's the side of the map. We don't want to go quite that far. And we're going to jump again because that will get us a little bit better distance.
Engaging jump jet.
Alright. So it is a light mech that is our target, so this I don't expect will take too long. We might as well reserve, see what's going to happen here. It may move away rather than towards me. It's a 35-ton mech. That could be a number of things. Okay, it's a Jenner. And it's going to fire at my Shadowhawk. Now we get to find out if the enemy has reinforcements, which I expect them to have, because this is only one enemy mech. But it is only a one-skull mission, so I just was checking.
I live to serve.
Okay, so you only have 3 evasion, which is really not that bad. I kind of want to close distance here. Oh, but the rock would probably block. Okay, so I can't go quite there. I guess we can jump on top of this building. Yeah, we have pretty terrible shots. Or we could use our precision strike, and this guy has high spirits, so it's not going to eat much of our morale if I do that.
Lifting off.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do so. And we'll just go straight center torso. If we get good accuracy with our AC. Okay, that was quick.
One less target.
Is that it? Okay, there's more enemy. I was gonna say, that would be a really quick...
I'm picking up a new sensor trace. Looks like enemy reinforcements.
So yet again, we didn't get to take our turn with 2 of our mechs. I really wish they would fix that, because this is kind of silly. Alright, well, we're pretty getting...
Commander?
Let's go ahead and just jump forward. They have enough evasion that I think we may have a hard time hitting them. Although we could always do another precision strike. Well, what would we get with that? Still pretty bad accuracy. But they even have half armor. You know what? What the hell? Let's just throw it out there. Oh my.
Hostile eliminated.
Alright, we'll probably play this one out, even though it is kind of getting close to the time I would normally put a cut in here, because I don't think this mission's going to go much longer. Okay, let's go ahead and have, well, he has one evasion, so let's just have Toxic go over there and murder the crap out of him with another precision strike. I don't think it's going to live through, how many SRM-6s do we have on this thing? 4 SRM-6s. So we don't really get that much of experience. I guess we'll go right towards here.
Here you go, moron.
Hey, he lived! Oh no, no he didn't.
One less target.
Oh, that was silly. Alright, that's all of them, Commander. Good shooting.
Mission successful.
Okay, well that wasn't too hard. Nobody took any damage. Let's get our salvage here. Well, we can just grab a generator and just use the money from it. Unless, of course, there's a special system. I don't see any special systems, though. The generator's probably going to be worth more than the other two, so we'll take that, and we'll get a full mech out of this as well. So, well worth it. Okay. We're also going to get a couple locusts as well. Well, no, just one. All right, well, it works out. We can just immediately sell those. All right, we've acquired these mechs before, so I'm not going to really read through that. Yeah, I know we have experience, and of course we're just going to send that straight into storage. All right, well, this is going to be the point where we go ahead and wrap things up, so I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.